All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're bringing you an executive-level brief on navigating one of the most fast-moving, high-stakes tech landscapes in the entire world. We're unpacking the 2026 definitive guide to cybersecurity companies in Dubai. If you're a business leader, a founder, or an IT director operating in the UAE, you'll definitely want to stick around. We're going to distill exactly how to evaluate vendors, decode local compliance, and literally secure your company's growth. So, let's dive right in.
$9.44 million. Let that sink in for a second. According to IBM's Cost of a Data Breach report, that is the average financial damage of a single data breach in the Middle East right now. It's actually higher than any other region globally. In Dubai's hyper-connected, smart city economy, cyber threats aren't just some annoying IT headache anymore. They are a daily reality and, quite frankly, a massive financial liability.
And the sheer scale of this urgency, it is absolutely real. Just look at this. 83% of UAE organizations have suffered at least one breach in the past 12 months alone. That means it's highly likely your systems have already been tested or they will be very soon. The guide we're looking at today makes one thing crystal clear. Choosing the right cybersecurity partner in this region isn't just some strategic luxury. It is absolutely mission-critical for your survival.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. Dubai's high cyber stakes. 2. Navigating UAE cyber regulations. 3. Comparing top cybersecurity firms. 4. Understanding cyber pricing models. And finally, number 5, selecting the right partner.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, Dubai's high cyber stakes.
Look, we all know Dubai is a global leader in cloud-first transformation, right? But with that rapid innovation, inevitably comes risk. There are 5 massive drivers pushing the market right now. You've got national mandates from the UAE Cyber Council, strict rules from financial free zones like ADGM and DIFC, the absolute necessity of protecting critical infrastructure like ports and aviation, and the headaches of cross-border data compliance. On top of the whole shebang, Federal Decree Law 45, which is the UAE's Personal Data Protection Law, or PDPL, is now in full force. You simply cannot do business in the region without tackling these drivers head-on.
Which brings us to Section 2, Navigating UAE's Cyber Regulations. If you're operating in Dubai, you're dealing with a very unique blend of local, regional, and international regulations. Honestly, it can look like a total alphabet soup. You've got NESA setting the National Information Assurance Standards, which is basically treated as the gold standard even for private firms. Then there's the DIFC Data Protection Law for businesses in the Dubai International Financial Center. You also have the ADGM Data Protection Regulations over in Abu Dhabi. And of course, that overarching UAE PDPL for personal data we just mentioned.
Now, the crucial point here is understanding the sharp contrast between federal and free zone regulations. Federal rules, like NESA and the PDPL, act as broad national standards. But if you set up shop in a financial free zone like the DIFC or ADGM, you're suddenly dealing with highly localized frameworks that are modeled heavily on international standards. Think Europe's GDPR. And here's the catch. A lot of fast-growing tech and finance companies in Dubai operate across multiple zones, meaning your security strategy has to seamlessly juggle both sets of rules.
All right, moving to the core of our briefing. Section 3, Comparing top cybersecurity firms.
Let's break down 3 major market leaders because they have very different approaches. First up, Atlant Security. They take an architecture-first, vendor-neutral approach and offer a virtual CISO, which is essentially an outsourced security executive. This makes them incredibly agile and ideal for SaaS, fintech, and cloud-first firms. On the complete other end of the spectrum, you have Help AG. Their strengths lie in massive, nation-scale infrastructure and managed services, making them the go-to for giant government entities and telcos. Finally, there's DarkMatter. They are heavily focused on R&D and defense, which makes them a perfect fit for aerospace and heavy government defense contracts. It really boils down to matching the firm's specific DNA to your unique business model.
But maybe the most important distinction in this entire market is understanding how a firm actually makes its money. The market is basically split into 2 camps: vendor-bound resellers and independent consultants. Resellers are often incentivized by commissions to push specific software tools, and you know what that means: tool bloat. You end up paying for expensive software that doesn't even integrate well with your systems. Independent consultants, on the other hand, are totally vendor-neutral. They aren't taking software commissions. Instead, they focus on fixing your root architecture and making sure you actually hit your compliance goals.
To bring this to life, check out this quote from the CTO of a Dubai payment SaaS company. They said, "We didn't know what we were doing wrong until Atlant Security showed us the gaps. No nonsense, just solutions." This fintech company was missing compliance deadlines,
and at a super low internal security maturity. But by bringing in an independent consultant to fix their architecture, instead of just buying more tools, they jumped from a 20% security control coverage all the way up to 98% in just 12 months. And they got fully audit-ready, no unnecessary upsells, just pure problem solving. So, what does all this cost? Let's look at Section 4, Understanding Cyber Pricing Models.
Transparency is absolutely key here, so let's talk bottom line. You'll typically see 3 pricing models in Dubai. First, the retainer-based model, which usually runs between 30,000 to 90,000 dirhams a month. This covers ongoing virtual CISO services and continuous security growth. Then there's the project-based model, ranging from 25,000 to 150,000 dirhams. That's a flat fee for specific things like a penetration test or a compliance audit. And lastly, the tool reseller model. This one is highly variable because you're paying for licensing and integration. But as we just talked about, the big risk here is spending your budget on unnecessary bloat rather than fixing real security gaps.
Okay, let's wrap this up with Section 5, Selecting the Right Partner. Here is a totally foolproof, highly actionable 4-step blueprint for hiring a new partner. Step 1, map your regulatory needs. Know exactly which federal and free zone rules apply to you. Step 2, shortlist a mix of 4 to 6 local and global firms, scaling this to your company size. Step 3, check their UAE capabilities. Ask for recent local client work. They literally must know the local landscape. And Step 4, pilot a scoped engagement. Do a specific project, like an audit, before locking yourself into a massive annual retainer.
While you're evaluating these partners, please watch out for these major red flags. If a vendor offers you an instant solution without asking deep questions about your business context, walk away. If they aggressively push tools they are clearly incentivized to sell, huge red flag. If they stumble when you ask about local NISA compliance or international SOC 2 standards, they're not the right fit for the UAE market. And finally, if they can't provide clear documentation and KPIs of your improved security posture, run. You need a partner, not a blind transaction.
Ultimately, this all requires a total mindset shift. For modern businesses in Dubai, especially SaaS, fintech, and healthcare startups, cybersecurity is a true market differentiator. It's not just a compliance checklist to keep the regulators off your back anymore. Mature cybersecurity is exactly how you win enterprise customer trust, pass investor due diligence, secure global funding, and ultimately outpace competitors who are still treating security as an afterthought.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. I want you to look at your current IT budget, look at your existing security partners, and ask yourself this absolutely crucial question. Are your vendors just selling you tools, or are they actually securing your growth? Taking the time to understand your architecture, navigate the UAE's unique regulations, and align with an independent strategic partner could literally be the most profitable decision you make this year. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer today. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next one.